Hey guys, Tony here. I'm here with David, who is from Cogworks, and he's going to run through some of the latest product offerings that they have on show here at the Cedia Tech Summit in 2023. So over to you, David.
Thanks, Tony. So we've brought along Elementi Audio with us this year. So this speaker and the subwoofers that are standing there behind us. Obviously, Elementi is a range of products. So I think we've got about 16 models now in the range. So Elementi is a digital active system. So it's not just the speakers, there's actually also amplifiers that go along with this. It's not a passive design. The advantage of that is that something like compression drivers, which make up a portion of our range, so the fire range is actually compression drivers. Compression drivers have a very varied frequency response as you get up into the high frequencies. It doesn't matter how expensive the compression driver is, that always remains true. And so being able to DSP control those speakers means that we're always getting a flat frequency response for our models. If you could do other ways of doing that by tuning it, say with Dirac or Odyssey or Trinov or one of these sort of products to try and tune it in the room, I would argue that's actually a bad way to do things. EQ in the room really shouldn't be done above 1,000 hertz if the room's designed correctly. Having a speaker that's a very good frequency response, both on and off axis, is actually critical to cinema design. And part of the RP22 standards that have just been released. So these speakers are very much designed around working within RP22 that Cedia has just released. So that's sort of Elementi. One of the other things that we've launched is the DBOX chair that's over here. DBOX has been around for getting close to a decade. But what's made DBOX much more relevant now is that DBOX is actually in Hoyt cinemas and been released around the country. So DBOX is no longer a thing of just like, oh, that might be nice to sort of, is that part of the industry? I've maybe heard something about that. You can now go to commercial cinemas and experience DBOX. And I don't usually like to talk about DBOX, to be honest, because if I talk about DBOX, I have to talk about motion. And when people think of motion, they think of theme park rides. And that's not what DBOX is. DBOX is actually a scripted motion that's actually done with the movie artists. DBOX is part of the Hollywood standard for movies. So this isn't just an add-on, this is actually being delivered as part of the movie into the cinemas digitally. And DBOX are working with the directors and movie people to actually generate all of this information. So that chair is actually moving and it's also vibrating. You can see the motion, but you can't see all the little vibrations. And that's actually probably the key thing with DBOX is that it's very tiny movements, very fast. So I've seen one frame in a movie, so 1/24th of a second, and in that 1/24th of a second there were 28 pieces of motion. So it's moving incredibly fast. You can't see it, apart from the big motions. If he's in a car chase, you can see the car accelerating and braking. You couldn't get that feeling any other way. And the big thing with DBOX in terms of experiencing it and knowing whether or not it's something you want, it's experiencing it, but it's actually more important to actually take it away. When you take it away, you realize that there's no way to actually get that feeling back again. So this is a new chair called the Vibe that's just been released. So the good thing about this chair is that everything that you need for DBOX is in the chair. You literally just have to plug it into power, connect it to your Wi-Fi network, and create an account with DBOX, and it'll download all the information. You put in a movie, it'll just start. You don't even have to do anything other than turn the chair on, and it'll just start. It's got a microphone located on the side of the chair, so it actually listens for the movie, a bit like Shazam on your phone. So Shazam would recognize what song you're listening to. Mm-hmm. DBOX is actually recognizing what movie it is, and then synchronizing to the frame based on the audio. So it's perfectly in sync with the audio. The other thing that you've got on DBOX is on the arm of the chair, you've actually got a level control. So you can actually adjust the motion up or down. And if you really want to get sophisticated about it, on the app, you can actually, like if somebody was to get, say, motion sick, and they said, oh, I don't want DBOX because of that, you can actually go into the app and you can dial just the motion down and leave the tactile feelings of the vibrations in the movie track.
Right, okay.
So every seat is able to be customized within DBOX. So if I plug in 4 chairs and I install the app, all of those 4 chairs will individually show up in the app and I can control them all individually.
Right.
So
cool.
This is coming new to the market. We haven't actually set a price for it yet or when it will actually be released. Like this is a an event for dealers, and really we're showing to the dealers to gauge their interest and who wants to come on board. So this is more probably a next year product at the moment.
Sure. Well, I'll leave links down in the description to Cogworks, and hopefully when that's ready, it'll become available. People can find them.
So another big thing that we do with Cogworks is we're a full service company or value add company. I'm also the owner of Wave Train Cinemas, which is a highly awarded cinema design company in Australia. Through Cogworks, we provide an engineering service for our dealer network. Once again, I mentioned RP22 has been released from cedia, which is a working document for how cinemas should be designed. Most of the dealers would actually struggle to implement a document like that and sort of calculate how loud a speaker is going to play at a seating position, where acoustically a seat should be in a room, where acoustically a speaker should be in a room. You know, all of these sort of parameters, how big a screen should be, how much light is going to be generated on that screen, what gain the screen should actually be. All these things we actually calculate for the dealer and provide them all the drawings and engineering for that as a service. And that just means that when you're buying an Elementi system from one of our dealers, it's coming in an engineered room where you're going to get a guaranteed result. Because like Artnovion acoustic panels that we also do, you know, we want to actually tune the room. And the thing is, the room has an acoustic signature to it. And if you don't believe this, or if you're not convinced of this, then at home what you can actually do is just walk around the house and talk and listen to your voice as you walk around the house. Your voice will continually change. You're not changing. Your voice is changing. Your voice is actually taking on the acoustical signature of the space that you're in, right? And so if you put a speaker the same as yourself into that space, the speaker will start sounding like the space that it's in rather than what the speaker should sound like. So engineering is actually engineering the acoustics of the space. And that's using panels like Artnovion and engineering services to sort of design these spaces. The only things we don't have here are brands like Meridian. I mean, there's only so much we can put on the stand.
Sure.
Lumagen video processing.
Yep.
We have a range of Cogworks design cinema chairs, which people might have seen online. We've been advertising that a bit.
Yeah, they've been on my channel as well.
Yep. So you know, those sort of things we can't fit in a tiny little space like this. Lumagen video processors. The thing with video processing is Lumagen's been around for a long, long time, but it was very much a specialist product. Only the best designers tended to sort of use the product or talk about it. Video processing has become a lot more of a talking topic now with Mad VR being released.
Yep.
But I would still say with Lumagen is at least as good as a Mad VR. Whether or not it's better or not is up for debate. I would argue that there are elements of Lumagen that are better because Lumagen does video switching. And so within video switching and putting sources through the device, it actually gives you access to advanced features you don't get any other way. But probably the biggest advantage that Lumagen has is because you're running the HDMI through it is Lumagen is a low jitter output for video and audio. In fact, it's the lowest jitter output of any device on the market. And even if you're running something like a Trinnov audio processor, the low jitter output from a Lumagen makes the Trinnov better. There's no debate about it. Everybody agrees. It's an audio benefit from a video processor. So I know that there's a lot of debate and there's a lot of passionate people out there, but at the end of the day, Lumagen has been around for a long, long time. It's been top of the hill for a long, long time, and there's a reason why. Well,
I'm looking at getting one over the Mad VR. I was going Mad VR, but it's convinced me to go Lumagen.
Yeah, definitely worth a look.
Yep.
Most of the top calibrators in Australia that I know use Lumagen. Yes. Yep, and there's a reason why. I think that pretty much covers everything.
No, that's great, David. Thank you very much for showing us what you've got here. And guys, I will have links down in the description to everything that is mentioned in this video. So check them out if you're interested. Righto, guys, you'll catch me in the next video.